What's happening, people? Welcome back to Out of the Loop. I am Matt Black, and this video is, it's a bit of a special one. It's the start of a big step for me. You saw the title of the video. It's called The Road to Anjunadeep, and so it's going to be my path and my journey to getting my tracks signed by Anjunadeep, which is one of the biggest labels in this genre, in progressive house. As you guys probably already know that, and I'm sure a lot of you are trying to do the same thing, so I thought it would be quite helpful to show the path. And it's going to be a long one, obviously. There's going to be a lot of steps, but I think it would really help you guys to see how it's done if I get there, which I'm sure I will. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep improving and making music and whatnot. So I think I just want to give you guys a bit of a background into me, who I am, and like why I'm making music and whatnot. I won't go on too much, but yeah. So I used to make hip hop actually a long time ago. Just changing my screen. I used to make hip hop and grime music. This is how I started out. I think I was like 15 or so, and I would make hip hop beats and grime beats, and because I'm from Nottingham, which is in East Midlands, and hip hop and grime is big there. House music and techno really isn't. Drum and bass is more of the dance music that we listen to in garage. So I got into all of that, hip hop, and I was making music. I can show you some of the music.
Jetson anyway. Train of thought dropped me off, told me just to improvise. Confidence took a walk, told me just to not be shy. You tempted and attempted, then I give up. Never learned to swim before I'm jumping in the river.
Yeah, you get the idea. So that was me. I did hip hop for like 5 years or so, and I gave it up because I kind of just didn't feel like I was getting much support from like the hip hop community, because I wasn't really talking about anything gangster or anything like that. Like in Nottingham, like all the grime artists and hip hop artists, they're mostly talking about like selling shit, like selling drugs, like fucking people up. They're always just doing like battles, and like it was always just like, it wasn't about just having like a general life. Like I wasn't from like a rough area or anything like that. I just like lived a normal life. I was working a 9 to 5, but I loved hip hop, and I loved the art of like music, but there wasn't really much of an audience for that, so I wasn't getting much support, and I just kind of like it ran its course. I stopped. I think I was like 21 by that point, and the whole time I've been chefing. I'm a chef by trade, which is something that I do love at times, but I mostly hate it. It makes me pretty depressed at times, just because it's such a low paid job and such hard work, some social hours and all that stuff. So I'm basically all through my 20s I'm chefing and traveling. I traveled around the world and whatnot, and I went to Ibiza quite a lot. Did like 3 seasons in Ibiza, which definitely messed my head up, but it was a lot of fun, and I started falling in love with house music and techno and progressive house and all that stuff. I'm like in love with this music now, and then I was starting to feel really like not fulfilled with my life. I was like, okay, I've traveled a lot, but what am I? Like, what's my legacy? And I always just felt like I needed to, achieve something good, like, everybody does. And so, I think I was like 28, and I was like, okay, I need to get back into music. I've got to just produce or something. Like, I really just want to make music. That's what I always think about. I really love music, and I feel like with all my friends, I've always been the one that's like, I'm always DJing at a party, like the phone DJ, or I'm always talking about music. It's just always something that I loved. So I started getting into music by this is quite funny. I got the Fruity Loops app. There's an app for producing called by Fruity Loops, and I got it on my phone because I didn't have a laptop or anything. I had like no money. I was just like, I think I was in Australia, and I was just living off noodles and just getting by. So I started making music, and I had a name. My name was Matter. My name's Matt, and then whatever, not this guy. Oh. here I am. So I hope you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. Cool. So I made 2 tracks. Well, I made a lot of tracks on my phone. I made probably like 20-30 tracks, and then this was the one that emerged out of it. I was like, yeah, this is sick. This drum and bass. It was drum and bass that I was making, because you know I was thinking, I'm gonna go back to Nottingham, and that's the only music that people listen to. And so yeah, I made this track. I'll just play a little bit of it. Loud. Yeah, some vocal in there somewhere. Yeah, it's not too bad, and then the silver track here is pretty shit. But I released this track. Like, I actually thought, yeah, if I release it, people will hear it and it'll blow up and blah blah blah. So I didn't know anything about releasing music. I didn't know, you know, just to, oh yeah, it's in 2019, so it's not that long ago. So I decided to, yeah, release it independently through Ditto. You guys can check that out if you want. It's just like an independent releasing agent or whatever it's called, distributor. And so yeah, I released with them, and obviously nothing really happened. I think it's got like 5,000 streams, which is not bad, like considering that I had no idea what I was doing. How do I go to... Yeah, 5,000 streams. 3 people listen to it now. I don't know who they are. It's probably just me. Press and play here. So yeah, I did that, and then nothing happened, obviously. I just really got these 5,000 streams, and that's it. And everybody knows, like, streams don't amount to nothing. I didn't know that at the time. I thought, like, if you get 5,000 streams, you get £5,000. That's obviously not the case. And the other thing was, my name was Matter. But I knew I wanted to have music with Anjunadeep, which was like, even though I was making drum and bass here, I was like, I really like this like progressive style where it like progresses and it, like the sounds and the melodies and whatever. And as you saw before, there's a guy called Matter who is signed to Anjunadeep, who's got some music. And I was like, oh, well, I can't go down that name. So came up with the name Matt Black, because all my friends are white, and I'm always the black Matt in the group, which is kind of a funny thing for me, but also it's like I quite like the name Matt Black. It was like it represented the music I started making. Like melodic techno and like quite dark music, like this track here, a bit more like gloomy and yeah. So I started making that kind of music. Yeah, why am I telling you all this? There is a point to all this. So what I was learning over the last 2 years or so is that you have to be careful of the labels that you sign with, because some of them won't do anything with the releases. Like my first ever proper release, this is after I downloaded Ableton and I was making music a bit better. This was the first label that I signed with. I'm not going to say who they are, but yeah, they're a label, and they didn't do very well. They just put the track on a various artist thing, and nothing happened. And I really thought something would happen because it was a release with a label, and it was just like a waste of time. You know, all the time I put into that music, and for what? Am I on the right screen? Yeah, I am. Sorry. So yeah, and then I've released with another label that was a bit like another shit label. They didn't do anything, and you know, they weren't doing anything. There's a few of them. I just made mistakes, and then I found labels that I started being a bit more careful, and then finding labels that take care of their releases, and they really put a lot of money and time into it and promote it properly. So yeah, sweet. This is better, the streams are getting better, and I was getting more fans because they were releasing on loads of different things, and people were like, you know, they randomly talk to me on like Instagram, like, hey man, I love your music, blah 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 blah, and just, you know, being really supportive and nice, and yeah, it was good. It was like a good little encouragement. And then I learned more about promoting myself. So with this release, which was with an alright label, they did quite a good promotion job. But I learned how to do like Instagram ads and Facebook ads and things like that, and get it put in front of the right people, which I will show you down these steps and down the journey. I'll show you how to do that. And yeah, it really, like, it helped it got to, like, you know, got 30,000 streams, which is not huge in the grand scheme of things, but you know, it's better than these numbers. It means 30,000 people are listening to my music, which is good. It's a nice step. So I knew I was like improving, which was good. I'm like, all right, I'm improving, but I feel like my sound isn't like consistent, which doesn't need to be like really militant. Like, the sound doesn't need to be like exactly the same every time, but you know, it needs to be a little bit some similarity so people can recognize it. And I felt that I always wanted to just make a bit more melodic music and like nicer sounding music, I guess. And so over the last year, I've really been polishing my sound a bit more, and you know, like more focusing on like this never happened, like that label, and trying to go down that path, and like listening to them and going, all right, I really like what they've done there, and just, you know, using their tracks for references. And now my music is a bit more like melodic, and I feel like I'm polishing my sound a bit more and whatnot, which is steering me more towards Anjunadeep. It sounds like a lot more like their music, which is I'm really happy with. And so yeah, that's where I am at now. Like I've now got some releases with this year. I've got a release with Silk and 03. Yeah, these guys are great. A lot of their releases are, a lot of the people that release on them release on Anjunadeep, like Enamor and Salancha, and yeah, a lot of artists. So I was like, yeah, sick. This was like a really big step, because you know, these guys really look after their releases. They can get like millions of streams and stuff like that. So it's a really big step. And Silk obviously is really good as well. They're a huge label. Sorry, I just can't type. Yeah, these guys are really good. They take care of their releases as well. So this is like a huge milestone for me. It means I'm, you know, going in the right direction, and my sound's a bit more polished. These guys are like credible, and so that means that, you know, if Anjunadeep look at my music and who I've released with in the past, now they'll be with better labels. So yeah, this is where I'm at now, and so now I want to just talk through the steps that I'm going to take to try and get signed by Anjunadeep. Obviously, it's a complicated thing, and there's a lot of steps, a lot of sub steps, and a lot of things I'm going to have to do for each of these steps. But yeah, I think it's a good plan. We'll see. So step one is polish my sound. So it's pretty clear what that is. I mean, my sound is getting a bit more polished, as in like it has like a similar theme, like it's quite chilled and like a lot of melodic elements, but it needs to just be a little bit tighter and, you know, better. And that links into step two, which is creating a lot more music. So the more you create music, the more you improve. There's a video by Bound to Divide, which I'll try and link up somewhere, which it shows the idea of progressing. Like the idea of it is that you make something like simple. Let me try and show you on here. Maybe you make like a simple bass. It doesn't really matter, but you make a simple bass like this. You go dun 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 dun, and then you're like, yeah, that sounds nice, and you put all these drums into it and it sounds good, and then you copy it out for the whole track, and you don't change it around, because you're like, yeah, this was really good, and it was hard for me to get to this point. But then like you're like, all right, I've done that now, and then the next track you're like, all right, so rather than just doing a bass like this, I'm going to do this and then put like a note here, and then I'm going to end it like, yeah, like this maybe. And you just mix it up a little bit, and you get a bit more adventurous, and you try things out of boredom, because you don't want to just keep making the same thing. So you keep improving. So that's why you should always just keep creating lots more music until you're really ironing out things that you think work well, and something that you don't mind repeating, and things that you maybe you're doing that's too boring. So yeah, moving on. Step 3. build my name, which is something I think this year will help a lot with the releases with 03 and Silk. But I'll be doing things like sending these tracks that are going to be released to good artists, like I don't know, people that are signed to it in Unity, that I'm trying to network with. And so if they ever do any live streams or whatever, they might play that track, and then people might Shazam it or whatever. So just trying to build that name, doing things like this, like YouTube is great. It creates an audience. People start tuning in, and they're interested in learning from you and stuff like that. It's just a good way to build a name. So that's what I'm going to try and do, build a name. Sign to respectable labels, which is kind of linked together. So signing to This Never Happened, which is Lane 8's label, is a huge goal of mine. I think I'm kind of close. I've been sending music to Lane 8 over the last year, and the track that got signed to 03, Lane 8 did listen to it and he got back to me. He said he liked it, but wasn't quite right. Yes, it was some interesting texture, the sound design's good, but it's a pass. And he normally doesn't actually reply to any of my emails, any of the tracks I've sent to him. So maybe like now he like actually listened to it and thought, oh, this is quite good, but not quite perfect. So yeah, I've still got some work to do there to get to that point. But you know, signing to someone like him, like Lane 8, would be a huge step, and then that would, you know, push me towards being signed to Anjunadeep. So yeah, then the last step is creating an EP of my best work and sending it to Anjunadeep. So pretty simple, but that will be after a long time, maybe at the end of this year. And I've got like, you know, I've made loads of music, I've signed with some good labels, and now I'm ready. I've got this EP, and the EP will be, I'll probably make 10 tracks and then narrow it down to 3, and then send that to Anjunadeep and hope for the best. And so that's the plan. I'm basically going to kind of like rinse and repeat those 5 steps, keep getting better at all of these things, and hopefully get signed by them. And I think maybe you guys can learn something from that if you follow along. You'll see what I've done, and you basically can just copy the same format. You don't have to copy the sound, but you copy the steps that I've done. This is obviously hoping that I actually do get signed by them, but I'm pretty confident that I will. I don't think my music's terrible, and I've got plenty of time, so why not? So yeah, I did rant a little bit there in different areas, but I thought it'd be important to show you guys my background. I thought it'd be important to show you who I am, and so yeah, you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. So yeah, the next video I'm going to do is just making some music. I'm going to keep making some like nice Anjunadeep style music, so you guys can watch how I do that and learn. And yeah, so I think that's it. I think that's it for step 1. I'm very excited for this project. I hope you guys are excited as well. If you guys want to check out the Patreon to support the channel, I'm giving out free sample packs for people that subscribe on there and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll see you in the next step. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Peace.